The disappearance of Brandon Swanson. In May of 2008, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson was driving home to Marshall, Minnesota, after celebrating the end of his spring semester. Just after midnight, his car became stuck in a ditch along a rural gravel road. Unharmed, he called his parents for help. For nearly 45 minutes, Brandon calmly guided them over the phone as they searched for him in the dark. Then suddenly, he exclaimed, "Oh, shit," before the line went silent. His phone was never used again. Despite extensive searches, no trace of Brandon has ever been found. The Yuba County Five. In February 1978, 5 men from Yuba City, California, attended a basketball game but never made it home. Their car was found abandoned in the Plumas National Forest, far from their expected route. Months later, 4 of the men were discovered dead in and around a ranger's trailer, some having starved despite food and supplies inside. The 5th man, Gary Mathias, vanished completely and has never been located. To this day, no one knows why the group ended up in the mountains or what truly happened to them. The mysterious death of Elisa Lam. In January 2013, 21-year-old Canadian student Elisa Lam checked into the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. Guests soon complained of low water pressure and a strange taste in the taps. Maintenance workers went to the rooftop water tank and made a horrifying discovery. Elisa's body was inside. Surveillance footage released by police showed Elisa behaving erratically in the hotel's lift, pressing buttons, hiding in corners, and gesturing at someone unseen. Her death was ruled accidental, but no one can explain her disturbing behavior in those final moments. The disappearance of Maura Murray. On February 9, 2004, 21-year-old nursing student Maura Murray emailed her professors, claiming she was leaving due to a family emergency. Later that day, she crashed her car on a rural road in New Hampshire. A passerby offered help, but she refused. Minutes later, police arrived to find the car abandoned, airbags deployed, and Maura gone. Despite massive searches and countless theories, she was never seen again. The lead masks case. In 1966, 2 Brazilian men, both electronics technicians, were found dead on a hillside near Rio de Janeiro. They were dressed in suits and wore strange lead masks over their faces. A notebook found nearby contained cryptic instructions. Be at the agreed place at 1630. Take capsules. After effect, protect metals. Await signal. No signs of violence were discovered, and toxicology was inconclusive. Why they donned lead masks and what they expected remains a mystery that still baffles investigators. The Circleville Letters. In the late 1970s, residents of Circleville, Ohio, began receiving threatening anonymous letters exposing their secrets. One woman, Mary Gillespie, was targeted relentlessly. In 1983, her brother-in-law Paul Freshour was arrested and convicted of sending the letters. But the messages continued even while he was in prison. Hundreds were sent over the years, detailing scandals and threats that shook the small town. Who the true author was, or how the letters carried on after Paul's conviction, has never been answered. The Isdal Woman. In November 1970, hikers discovered the charred body of a woman in Norway's Isdalen Valley. Nearby were burnt belongings, coded notes, and passports under multiple identities. Her teeth suggested extensive dental work done abroad, but she has never been identified. Investigators believe she may have been a spy during the Cold War, though others suggest foul play or even suicide. Decades later, DNA testing has provided no answers, and her true identity remains unknown. The Sodder children disappearance. On Christmas Eve, 1945, a fire consumed the Sodder family home in West Virginia. 4 of the 9 children escaped with their parents, but 5 vanished. No remains were found in the ashes, and strange details soon emerged. A cut phone line, a missing ladder, and reports of the children being seen alive afterwards. For decades, the Sodder parents believed their children had been abducted, but the case was never solved. The Toxic Lady of Riverside. In February 1994, Gloria Ramirez was admitted to Riverside General Hospital in California. She was suffering from late-stage cervical cancer, but when staff attempted treatment, they noticed her body had an oily sheen, the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. In May 2007, 3-year-old Madeleine McCann vanished from a holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, Portugal, while her parents dined nearby with friends. Despite worldwide media coverage, countless reported sightings, and one of the largest manhunts in modern history, her fate is still unknown. For years, speculation has swirled around whether she was abducted, killed, or trafficked. Official investigations have shifted between suspects, but with no concrete answers, Madeleine's disappearance remains one of the most famous, unsolved cases of all time. The Villisca Axe Murders. On June 10, 1912, in the small town of Villisca, Iowa, 8 people, including 6 children, were brutally murdered in their home with an axe. The killer covered the mirrors, locked the doors, and left uneaten food on the table. Despite multiple suspects and even trials, no one was ever convicted. More than a century later, the Villisca Axe Murder House still stands, drawing both investigators and ghost hunters. But the identity of the killer has never been proven. The Chicago Tylenol murders. In 1982, panic swept through Chicago after 7 people died from taking extra-strength Tylenol laced with cyanide. Victims included children and adults, all poisoned by capsules that had been tampered with on store shelves. Despite extensive investigations, the culprit was never found. The case led to sweeping changes in packaging laws, including tamper-evident seals on medicine. Yet, the killer behind the poisonings remains unidentified, making this one of America's most unsettling, unsolved crimes. The Oakville Blobs. In August 1994, residents of Oakville, Washington, experienced a bizarre phenomenon. Gelatinous, jelly-like blobs began raining from the sky, coating homes, cars, and streets. Many locals reported becoming sick after exposure, and even animals died shortly after contact. Samples were collected and tested, with some labs claiming the blobs contained human white blood cells. Others dismissed them as industrial waste or biological material. No official explanation has ever been given, and the strange rainfall of Oakville remains a disturbing mystery. The Somerton Man. On December 1st, 1948, the body of an unidentified man was discovered on Somerton Beach near Adelaide, Australia. He carried no wallet, no labels on his clothing, and no clear cause of death. In his pocket was a tiny scrap of paper with the words, "Tamam Shud," meaning, "it is finished," torn from a rare book of Persian poetry. Later, a copy of that same book was found in a car, with a secret code scribbled inside. Despite decades of investigation, the man's identity and how he died remain unsolved. Even with modern DNA testing pointing to a possible distant relative, the full truth of the Somerton Man continues to elude researchers. The WOW signal. In August 1977, astronomer Jerry Amon was scanning the skies with Ohio State University's Big Ear radio telescope when he picked up a 72-second signal unlike anything recorded before. It came from the constellation Sagittarius and was so precise that Amon famously circled it on the printout and wrote, "Wow," in the margin. The signal matched what scientists would expect from extraterrestrial contact, but it was never detected again. Despite repeated searches, no explanation has ever been confirmed, and the WOW signal remains one of the most tantalizing space mysteries in history.